This time I want to give an update, one that we've not given for some time, on where we are on the campaign and where we have yet to go. I think for anyone who's been driving by or has been here, you've seen that our new building, the new Parish Life Center, the gymnasium, cafeteria, the pre-K, the offices, the meeting spaces, that is pretty much finished. There's a few small punch list items left to clean up, but for the most part, the school is using it, the CYO is using it, our ministries have had some meetings, the staff is using it, so we're very, very excited that that building is complete, and I think they did a wonderful job matching it in with everything else here on the campus. This coming Wednesday, for anyone who has not yet had a chance to see it, we're going to have an open house where it'll be all unlocked and we'll have some people stationed around. So for anyone who would like, from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. this coming Wednesday, you can go over there and just look at the new building and look inside of it. Again, that's for anyone who hasn't had a chance yet to do that, because we're so excited to show off how beautiful that turned out. We still have a little bit more work left to do. As you know, there's still about 4 or 5 weeks left of work in Schaefer Hall before that will reopen, and then we'll have a bit of a back parking lot expansion, which will be done relatively quickly as soon as we get the permit from the city, maybe over fall break. So they'll be finishing those things up. First thing I want to say is how incredibly grateful I am and how incredibly wonderful it was to see the response of this parish during the campaign. We had, as you remember, back in 2021, an incredibly successful campaign, and the response to that really did blew me away, it blew the Archdiocese away. They were very surprised. Even CCS, the company that we hired to run the campaign, was very surprised by the number of parishioners who participated, the amount that was pledged, and the enthusiasm they saw. As of now, as of July of this year, because we have the campaign and then now we've had almost a year of new parishioners coming in, new people that have pledged for the first time. As of right now, we have about $5.3 million pledged to the campaign and about just over $3 million collected on those pledges, which again is a wonderful thing. It was a 5-year campaign, so there's still more time that we'll be collecting pledges, but that itself is something that our whole parish should be able to celebrate. So with all of that good news, of course, as is always the case, we found some challenges, and I think it should be no surprise what the biggest challenge has been for anyone who has to go buy things in the world. When we started this project, from the time we had it all estimated to the time we got the bids and they started building, inflation, the cost of materials, and the cost of labor skyrocketed, sometimes up to 50 or 60% on the dollar as far as what things ended up costing. That has been a trend everywhere, but especially it hit construction. So we were very lucky that we were able to keep things on the timeline. It's just that to get the steel, to get the wood, to have the workers, to do all these things, it costs a lot more, and of course the dollar is not as strong as it used to be. That has been our biggest challenge. But we decided from the very beginning when we saw this challenge that it was the case that there was no single part of this campaign, no major part of the scope of it that we could drop without the whole campaign suffering. We knew we had to get that new north entrance on the church to increase our accessibility. We knew we had to have the extra space, the new offices and all of that for that all to function. And we knew that we had to have Schaefer Hall redone so that it could be a more flexible and usable space for ministry meetings. All of these things were a part of the promise of the campaign. And because of the success of it, the Archdiocese allowed us, by extending the loan credit, to be able to pay for this all at once so that we could get it done, so it wouldn't cost us that much more to go back and do something later. We did do value engineering, but because of that, the entirety of the cost of the campaign, from the design to CCS's fees to the building and all the parts that we did, is now at about $7 million. That's the top part of where it hit. So the Finance Council and I made a decision that for 4 years, starting last year, the parish itself would pledge $1 million towards the campaign from its own budget that we carved out very carefully and very meticulously. The first year of that's already been completed. But what we're asking now for you to consider, and I know we've already asked so much, but what we're asking for you to consider is whatever it was that you pledged the first time, to consider extending that by 1 year. So if it was a 5-year pledge, to do 1 more year of the same amount of payment for the year, or 20% of the original pledge. That increase would then that would bridge the gap that we need to be able to pay back the Archdiocese on the loan that we now have, so we can pay this off in about 2 or 3 years. And the point of that is the archdiocesan loan has to follow the variable rate that the Fed sets, which means it's gone up since we've done this as well. The sooner we pay it back, the less we're straddled by that debt and the less on the interest we'll have to pay. So if you can prayerfully consider as a family, any amount that you're able to help by increasing your pledge will help tremendously. But we're asking you to begin with that point of thinking about a 20% increase or 1 more year on that pledge. And if we're able to see success in that, then not only can we do all this, but we can also responsibly pay it off in a timely manner. In the narthex, there are some things that we've now revealed that I want you to see. Right in the middle is a Growing in the Good News tree, which shows our progress. On the left, it shows the amount pledged. On the right, it shows the amount collected. We'll be able to keep that there to have a visual of where we are. On either side of the entrances to Schaefer Hall are renderings of what Schaefer Hall is going to look like when it's completed, because it's going to be a wonderful space, and I want you to see that as well in about 4 or 5 weeks. So we can bring back coffee and donuts and funeral meals and meetings and ministries. So please check those out. There's also a table, and we have volunteers from the campaign committee to answer questions. They have pledge cards if you'd like to begin looking at those, just so we can begin that conversation of how we can do this as a parish. So again, thank you very, very much. That's the first thing I want you to hear. And I have a great deal of confidence that we're almost through and we will see this to the end.